Howdy y'all, it's Jordan Smith. We are up here in the panhandle of Texas and we are at our modern farmhouse design build, and I wanted to give you a quick tour of an in-process view of where we're at on this build. So let's get started. First thing that you notice is this gorgeous porch here. We left the V-groove tongue and groove exposed, and we left the simple framing exposed, landing on this cedar beam porch. It looks great. I really like the simple aesthetic of it all. It's not perfect, it's not finished carpentry, it is framing, but that adds to some of the character. Now we are going to finish this with a oil to bring it a little bit darker and to give it some protection against the elements, but it's going to stay very simple and very exposed. Come on inside. So inside, you'll notice that we don't have an entryway here. We sometimes do entryways if it adds to the house. In this case, because we were trying to keep the floor plan as small as possible, we didn't want to have extra space that's just an entry, especially since we've got that great covered porch out there that is acting as the entry to the home. As soon as you come in the door, we don't have any wasted space in here. You're just right into the living. We have our completely sealed direct vent fireplace here that we did a video a few weeks ago on. This is going to have stone that goes all the way up to the top. We have white oak beams. You'll notice that all of the wood in this house is either paint grade or it's going to be white oak. So it's a very simple palette, but with really high-end craftsmanship and really nice materials, which allows it to blend and flow nicely. It's not, you know, one of the big mistakes that we see a lot of people do is they try to use as many different materials in as many different arrangements as they can, especially on the exterior of houses. You'll see stone and brick and wood and hardy board, and it's all over the place, and we like it to be very simple and understated and let the quality show in the craftsmanship instead of trying to use a whole bunch of different materials. Coming in here, the story on this house was that there was an original house that is this main gable here, and then there were additions made over time as a family grew. So you'll notice here on the dining room, this is a bump out that goes into the wraparound porch. The porch comes and wraps around, and then we've bumped out and we've taken in the porch. That's why we have this thick wall here, is it's mimicking a thick exterior wall that we've knocked out and we've added on the porch. The finish in here will also lend to that design aesthetic because we are going to have shiplap on these walls. You can see we are testing out paint colors, or I say we, Veronica's testing out paint colors here on this wall. It's great to have a big wall to be able to put paint colors on, because paint looks different on a piece of cardstock versus a little paint chip versus on a textured wall or on a piece of wood. So we like to test the paints on the actual materials that they're going to go on. Beware though that if you do this on your own home, you will have a difficult time covering up a dark paint if you put a lighter paint over it for your final color. So if you do this, make sure that you put into your time and budget enough to prime it. In this case, we're just going to go over it with shiplap. So these are just blank walls that we can play with as much as we want, because we're coming in and we'll do shiplap on this wall. Our cabinets here are all inset frames, or are all inset cabinets and door and drawers. So they come all the way in, and we have this nice 1/8 reveal all the way around. For high-end furniture, you're usually looking at something like a 32nd to a 16th for just super high-end furniture. But you have to do a lot of stuff like back beveling your doors in order for that to function and close. And over time, there's a whole lot of adjustment to keep those working perfectly. In a kitchen, because these are utilitarian cabinets, you're going to be using them all the time, and there's going to be kids climbing up them, and it's just, you know, it's going to be a kitchen. It's not going to be a nice fine piece of furniture sitting out there that is rarely used. We like an 1/8 inch reveal. It is a bigger reveal. I wouldn't go beyond that, but an 1/8 inch reveal makes everybody's life easier, both when we're installing it and building it, and down the line, they can get out of adjustment and still function, and then maybe once a year you come in and you adjust it. We're using the Bloom hardware for both our drawers and our doors, and we really like the adjustability that they give you. I made a mistake. So this is true confessions of a contractor. These doors here have bores on them, and this bore is set from the CNC. I put this hole in the wrong spot. It needed to be over this way by about another 1/4 inch. So my doors right now don't close. They don't fit. You see we've got too much of a gap on this side and not enough on this side. Since it's all done on the CNC, I've got all of my doors all done. I can't go back and remake them. That would just cost way too much, and there's really no need to. The clip system that we use on this is a clip system that goes off of this face frame. I did a video of that a few weeks ago. You can go check that out. We're going to get rid of those clips, and we're going to go with a standard clip that mounts to the inside of the cabinet, and we're going to pad the inside of the cabinet just behind the hinge, so that when that clip goes on, it gives us the right reveal, and it looks like our drawers do down here, giving us the nice 1/8 inch all the way around. So if you are wanting full inset, remember there's about 3 different ways of doing a door. You can do a full inset, you can do a partial overlay, or you can do a full overlay. If you're doing inset cabinets and you want to use the Bloom face frame clip adapters like what we used here, make sure that you tell your door manufacturer, or if you're doing this on the CNC, make sure that you move those bores out far enough that it actually works. Bloom actually gives you the exact distance you want to move that bore depending on what kind of reveal you want. I just missed it, so keep that in mind. This is all hard maple and will be painted. So this sap here that would normally not make it on our cabinets if this was finish, if this is just going to be a wood oil stain finish, since it's painted, it doesn't matter. But over here on our white oak island here, we want to make sure that all of the wood is just really nice and pristine. So this is a random tongue and groove. You could call it shiplap, but it's not shiplap because remember, shiplap has a different joint than the tongue and groove. So this is a tongue and groove, but we still have this nice 3/32 reveal across this whole panel of the island. And it's random. This is something that wasn't me coming up with. None of this is me coming up with it. This is Veronica. But we've got a random pattern here going from about a 3-inch up to about a 6-inch or so. So we've got, I think we've got 4 or 5, no, 3, 4, and 5 inches across here. And then they're randomly put across and they look really nice. Let's go into the, well, let's keep back here. Let's talk about the canning kitchen. So I don't know how many houses y'all have seen with canning kitchen, but the owner of this house really likes to can. And so we have a whole kitchen here, small kitchen that will be just for canning. We've got a gas range that sits here. We have got a sink that sits here, and within one of the details that really sets a custom build home off or from just a standard home is all of the details, like this style on this cabinet lines up with our sink faucet here, lines up with our divide light between these windows here. So it's a nice clean install where you can see all of the different features lining up across there. Same thing here on the kitchen. When you're sitting here at the sink obviously lines up with the island, but it also lines up with the window across the way. That divide between the first and second windows is lined right up with this sink, and it's just those types of detail really make a house feel more handcrafted instead of just thrown together. Coming back to the laundry room, more cabinets. This house has more cabinets per square foot than probably any house you've ever seen before in your life, but the owner really wanted storage. So everywhere we could put a cabinet, we put a cabinet. So lots of cabinets in here. Same thing on this. We've got a sink. The style lines up with the faucet, lines up with the divide light of the window, and it really, those details really look nice. Back here going into the master, we have storage under the stairs here. This is where all of the IT equipment is going to go. So your internet, your camera system, security, all of that comes into this closet here. It's also a broom closet, so lots of good storage underneath the stairs. In the master bathroom, we've got white oak again. So the island will be white oak, the master will be white oak, and you can see here we did a quarter sawn for all of our slabs and all of our doors, which gives us this really nice pattern on the grain, and it'll look great. We're going to be doing a Rubio Monocoat clear finish, so it'll bring a lot of that grain out, but it won't be dark. In here, this is the master closet. It's cool to have a window up there, I think. I like that. That's one of the details that I like. The homeowner was making fun of us for putting it up there, but I think she likes it too. And there she is. She likes it too. So, let's walk into the away room. So you have a vestibule both here and into the master. It just gives you a little space before going off into the bedrooms. It gives it a little bit more private feel. This is a tornado shelter here. So we have this big, ugly door that you want for tornadoes because it locks in 3 places down. It's rated, FEMA rated for tornadoes. This whole room is cinder block and rebar that is tied into the slab below. The slab is extra thick underneath here. So this whole room is a bomb shelter basically that keeps you safe in the event of a storm. But we didn't want this big ugly door just being right here in the main space. You can see this from the entry. So we did shiplap walls, and the original design intent was to have a hidden door here. You've seen some of Matt and I's stuff where we've done that before. The problem with this door is it's a 6/8 door, and if we took it all the way up to the top on this front door here, it's just really long, and we were afraid of warping. In fact, even this small little 6/8 door is giving us a little bit of trouble with warping. So if we went all the way to the ceiling and we were trying to hide it all on this line, it wouldn't have worked. We would have gotten just a little bit of kick out, and you would have been able to read that was a hidden door. So we didn't want to go all the way to the top, and as soon as you come down and have this line across here where the door is, you no longer have a hidden door. So what we decided to do is we decided to not be devious. If it's not going to be a truly hidden door, why hide it at all? And we cased it out with this trim, which gives you a nice, you can tell it's a door, which is good if you're visiting here and a tornado comes and you want to know where the storm shelter is. You can tell that this is a door, but it's nice and clean and subtle. It'll all be painted the same color as the shiplap here. The trim and the shiplap will all be painted the same color, so it'll be very subdued, and it won't be obvious that it's a big ugly storm room, but it also won't be trying to be hidden when it's not really hidden. This is the way room here, bedroom. We try to make rooms do multi-purpose. So in this case, they're here. Their kids have moved out of the house, and so this is going to function as an away room. But if they ever want to make it a bedroom, we have egress through our windows here, and we have a closet. So this is a technical bedroom by real estate rules, and it's legal by code because we can egress out of it. But in reality, this will be used as just the sewing room, away room. Here are our doors for the white oak. And if you are doing white oak doors and drawers, you have to make sure that you get your grains running the proper way. So on all of our door fronts, we have our grain going vertical on the panel, and on the drawers, we have them going horizontal because the slabs are going horizontal. So on this one here, this is a door that sits down at the bottom, and we want to make sure that those grains are going vertical. And if it was going this way and still down low, we'd want to make sure that we rotated this to go vertical as well, just so that the pattern across your cabinets makes sense. We'll talk about the Anderson windows later. We really like these E-Series windows, but I'll do a whole other video on what I like and a couple of the things that I might want to see improved. So coming upstairs, we have simple skylights, sheetrockers, man. If you're a sheetrocker out there, one of my biggest pet peeves about your kind is you'll just make a huge mess. This floor has been swept and cleaned several times, and it's still just mud caked everywhere. There's mud up on the skylights that we got to clean up. So if you're a sheetrocker, take some pride in your work and make sure that you clean up after yourself, and you'll set yourself so far apart from the common yahoos out there who just make stuff go everywhere. But anyway, skylights look really nice, add a lot of light in here. And this is one of my favorite rooms in the house here. This is the little cathedral room that, again, the idea was that this was added on later for that bedroom down there, so we were able to capture this space up here as well. That's why from the front of this house, you see that we have a very steep pitch on both sides. That's just to maximize the square footage in here, because you can only count where it's 7 feet. It needs an average of 7 feet to be counted as usable space. And because our short little walls here on our second floor are so low, to give this a 1.5-story feel from the outside and to keep our costs down a little bit, we wanted that steep pitch so that this small room could still be usable. Out here, and this is like a, I want to say like a 20, maybe 21 in 12 pitch, so it's super steep. Out here, we have a more standard 8-12. So this is an 8-12. Our roof goes on back behind here. There's some mechanical storage back there as well. And it goes down to about a 2 foot before it goes down to the floor below. But we've built this wall here that gives us about a 3 foot wall, and then at an 8-12, so you can put a couch back here and still be able to sit down and get back up. And unless you're like 6'4" like me, it makes a very usable space. So we don't like to go much under 8-12 if we're trying to utilize a space above. But even then, you know, we've got full 10-foot ceilings here and have quite a bit of attic space up there for mechanicals to be able to run. So as you get bigger with your floor plan, an 8-12 still gives you a lot of space if you do a 1.5 stories. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the tour of this modern farmhouse being built. If you have any questions, comments, or future video ideas that you want to see on this house or any of the other houses that we're building, put those below. Subscribe if we've earned it. We show what we're doing every week on our design build company, Smith House. Go follow us over at Instagram, Jordan Smith Builds, or at Smith House. We have a Facebook page that we're getting started now, so go check us over there if you are a Facebooker, and we'll see you next time on Smith House.